Okay, I thought I needed to start this video showing you that since I started crocheting 8 months ago, my yarn storage has not improved at all. I'm still functioning out of the yarn crib and it's probably not going to change. But for those of you who have seen my first video, I just thought I'd let you know I haven't gotten any more organized. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla and I run a small crochet business called Cluck and Buzz Crochet. And I am going to be telling you about my best market ever that I had this past weekend. It was a Christmas market in a high school and middle school combined. There were 156 individual vendors, 250 booth spaces rented. They were mainly 8 by 10 spaces. So this was the biggest market I have done so far and the most successful that I've done so far. It's been my 7th market since I started doing markets back in July, I think was my first one. I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna show you some vlog footage and then of course afterwards I'm gonna run through the total amount of plushies I sold and money made. So keep watching. Morning, it's big Christmas market day. Jake and I have been on the road since, what time did we leave? 6:15 maybe? Yeah. I got maybe 4 hours of sleep last night. I didn't go to bed till almost 1 because I was hot gluing eye details in place and working on some signs and packing things up. And then I had to wake up at 5. So we are on the road. I'm working on adding some combs to a couple chickens. And we're hoping that we can set up in under an hour. We've never been here before. It's in the middle of nowhere, like a tiny town. It's a one-day event from 9 to 4. We have to be set up and ready to go by 8:30. And I haven't had coffee or breakfast. So we'll be spending our cash already as soon as we get there on breakfast and coffee. And I will try to film once we get everything set up. Guys, we are here at our setup in the middle school at our market. We're right in the foyer, so it's really exciting. And we've walked through the main building and it looks like there's, I don't know how many booths in there. Quite a few. There's one other crocheter, that's it. And my husband went and walked through the high school, which is also set up with booths, and only did not see another crocheter. He didn't walk past all the booths, but so that's a good sign. Let me show you what the booth setup looks like. So normally when we set up, we are kind of in an L shape, but we have this kind of longer, narrow space. So everything is just kind of in this one solid horizontal line. But I tried to break up the height and stuff on the table to give it a little bit more something. I do have my sister also sent me with a bunch of these little ornaments she made, so I have those set up here with her Venmo. And then my wagon with some other things. Guys, my first sale, my first crochet sale was my Andy Reid snowman that was right here. I'm so surprised that that was the first one. I have no replacements. And my sister also sold one of her little Chief's gnome ornaments. Okay, this is my noon, actually it's 12:45 check-in. I've sold 1 bee, 2 pigs, so not much here, but I've sold out of Jellyfish. I've sold a couple axolotls, sold a couple of my fat trees, none of my, what are these, Christmas pops. I sold out of these snowmen within 30 minutes, and I wish I would have made more than 3. I've sold, so one of these may have been stolen. I brought 8, and I have 4 sales written down. I only have 3 left, so not sure what happened there. Haven't sold a Willy yet. I did sell the little loaf cat Willy. I've sold a few of the Jayhawks, one of the Mizzou Tigers, the little moo that was down here. Okay, so my chickens are usually my best sellers. I think I've sold 1 today. Same with mushy pops. I think I've sold 1, and these are usually my top sellers. A couple booty frogs. I've totally sold out of possums and my fox. Sold my Bob Marley turtle, my big hamster. So of the booth now, I've sold 2 penguins. And I totally got rid of my basket. I sold everything in that basket minus this axolotl, and I have 1 other axolotl left. Haven't sold any more Christmas things. Oh, I did sell the Santa mushy pop. I'm about out of Jayhawks. Patchicks, I only have 2 left. I'm down to my last 10 chickens. Sold a few mushy pops. I'm almost done with booty frogs. That's my last one left. And then to consolidate, I'd sold everything in this minus the wolf. So I moved my basket with all my fruits and veggies into this just so I could have a little more space up here. I had to take some things to the car so we have less to load, but I think I've sold like 50 some things so far. Okay, so I'm not sure why I decided not to do a final run through at the market right before we packed up our things at 4 o'clock. But so I wanted to start this recap going over quickly the things that didn't sell, because I feel like these guys don't ever get their time on the shelf to shine. So let me start with them, and then we'll get into the more exciting things that did sell at this market. So I'm going to start with bees, which I thought would happen. They've been slowing down since the end of summer. The last few markets I've had, I have not sold many of these. And I didn't sell many at this market either. I sold 0 out of 2 of these mini bees that I have for 13 a piece. And I only sold 1 of my bigger bees. It was a yellow bee. I only sold 1 of these for $15. Okay, next thing that did not sell were my corn or my carrot. I did sell 1 of my pickles, but these 2 did not sell. I don't understand. This guy I have had since my very first market, and he's one of my favorite things at the booth because, like, who doesn't need a giant corn cob that can come in and out of his husk? I love him. I kind of want to keep him, but he's so fun to have in my stand. And people comment on him and they crack up, but no one has bought him yet. But he's still one of my faves. So I have this guy. This one I sell for $25. This one I sell for $15, and I did not sell either of them. Also, these 2 guys did not get any bites at the market. And these 2, even though I think they're really cute, are probably things that I'm going to stop making after this market, just because they have not, I've had, like I said at the beginning, 7 markets so far, and they really have not done well at any of them. So I think that once I sell these, I have another one of these bald eagles, but once I sell my last sheep and my last 2 bald eagles, I don't believe I will be making these in the future. Even though this sheep is so, I love him. He's so cute. I don't understand why they don't sell. They're even one of my cheaper items. I sell them for these for $12, and the bald eagles I sell for $15. Next, I'm going to talk about some Christmas things that did not sell. My Christmas items really did not do nearly as well as I thought they might. So I brought to my market 5 Christmas trees. Let me get another style besides this one. Hold on. Okay, so I brought 3 Christmas trees like this style, and I brought 2 that were this taller style, like this one in here as well. And I was selling them for $18 a piece. Neither of my tall skinny ones sold. 2 of my 3 fat ones with this snow or garland or whatever you want to call it. My green one that was in this shade, and I also had like a neutral, this neutral green one. Both of those sold. This guy is left over, but my other Christmas items that I brought, 6 of these poppers, these popping mushroom Christmas things, I only sold one of them. I sold my one of them that had the Santa hat and the beard. That one sold. The other 5 that I had did not sell. So these might be getting regifted to someone for Christmas. I don't know, but they're not obviously going to be something I can bring, you know, once the Christmas season is done to markets. So I'm sad that none of these guys sold. Those did not do that well. I was selling these for $18 a piece, and I sold 1 out of 6 of them. And then lastly, I only brought one of these. This guy is really cute. I wouldn't be surprised if he sold later, but I was selling him for, I think 15 I had up there. This is by Knots Merry Yarn, which is one of my favorite crochet artists to follow on Instagram. She makes the cutest stuff, and I love the colors she uses. She uses a lot of like pastel, like bright pastel shades. Obviously this is in the classic snowman colors, but he did not sell, but I only made one of him. And I feel like maybe if I'd had like a little army of snowmen, they would have done better. I also had a few larger items that did not sell that I've had with me for a while. This pig I have had since my first market. I made one in the pink with the muddy ear and muddy nose, and I made one muddy pig that was in more of like a white neutral color, and he sold my very first market, but she's been around with me forever. And I don't know if it's just like people are thrown off by the, maybe it's like with the pink, they just don't get why I have the like brown colored nose. But she is still with me, although a couple people did pick her up and comment on her. I have her going for $30. Then my Snuggle Slugs, I've had these since my first market too. I have them for $30. I have this one and a teal colored one. Neither of them sold. I love these. I don't know why they don't get so much love. Look at their little eyeballs. But yeah, neither of my Snuggle Slugs sold. And then my last bigger item that did not sell was my Jumbo Axolotl, which I understand it's a more expensive. This is a $50 item, and it's not a huge item, but it's with this extra plush yarn, which is why it's more expensive. And he's really, really nice and soft. And my axolotls did do well at this market, but again, I still have this guy. While we are on the topic of bigger one-off items, let's talk about a few that did sell at this market. The first thing is my flamingo, and this was in the basket I had at the show that was all my like baby safe items because it had embroidered eyes. I had it in that basket. I had it on, I think it was selling for $30. I'm looking at my sheet. I just wrote everything down, like all my sales. The flamingo was $30. It was the goose pattern that I've used before. Snoozing Goose, the Snoozing Goose pattern. It's a free pattern on Instagram, and she has a mallard mod and a flamingo mod, and I have sold the mallard mod at my last market, and then I sold the flamingo at this market. So I do want to make more of those. I haven't made them in a while, and they are super cute. Another big item that I sold that I've had for a little while is my Bob Marley turtle. I knew he would sell. He just was looking for the right person. I had him listed for $30, and he sold to, it was a teenage girl that just got the biggest kick out of him. And then my most expensive item that sold is my jumbo hamster. I hope I can find a picture of him. My daughter has been hoping that he would not sell so that she could keep him, but he sold today. I also had one mini cow that sold. I sell those for $15, and I'd only brought one with me to the market, but I did sell it, and I probably will continue to make those even though they're not my favorite thing to make. But they do fairly well. Then I sold my fox. This is obviously not a fox, this is a wolf, but the same pattern that I used for him in orange and black, I sold for $18. This guy did not sell, my little wolf. I also had him for $18. And then last one-off item that sold, was a long chicken. He is from a free pattern. I'll try to remember to link all the patterns if I can find them. There's a lot of them below, but it's called the long chicken pattern. It's free on Instagram. I'd had him for a few markets now, and he finally sold. Now let's get into the exciting things, which were things that sold quite a few of or sold out completely. All right, so one of the new things I had at this market was my 6-tiered stand, this stand right here, sports themed shelf. That did so well at this market. In fact, the first thing that I sold out of that I was only expecting to maybe sell 1 or 2 of, which means I only brought 3 of them, were my Andy Reid snowmen. And all of these things sold out within 30 minutes. I had them going for 30 a piece, even though I probably should have had them marked for 40 because of the amount of time they take between embroidering the face with the nose and the mustache and sewing on, making the hat separately, sewing on the hat. They take me quite a bit of time. I'm not the fastest crocheter, so I probably should have priced them at like 40, but they're not like huge. They're probably like, I don't know, this big. They were my first sale of the day, and the other 2 sold quickly after them. Then I had other people. I left my sign up, my little Andy Reid sign. I'll show you my little signs. Okay, I was planning on showing you how I make these signs in my market prep video, which was my past video that I made, and I just didn't have time to do that, but I'll show you them really quickly. So on each shelf, I have these. I get them at the dollar store. They're like 6 for $1 or something. They're these little, like, I don't know, cardboard rings. And I pull the string out of the base, and then I take a clothespin, which also are at the dollar store. I hot glue the clothespin and stick the circle on it, and then write with a white paint marker the name of the item and the price, and I stick them. Can you see this? Probably not. Come here, shelf. I stick them on the shelves like this. So that just makes them really nice, clean, neat signs that are really inexpensive, but they work great. So I left this sign up by my snowmen, even though it was empty within 30 minutes. And I had multiple people coming up being like, oh my gosh, you had an Andy Reid. And I was able to show them the pictures on my phone and give them my business card. So if I would have had more, I definitely would have sold more than the 3 that I sold. But yeah, hopefully I will get a message or an email so that I can make a few more of these for Christmas orders. On the second shelf, I had my Patchick Mahomes, which I don't have. Another thing that I don't have to show you because I've sold all of them. So I brought 8 to the show. I was selling them for $20 a piece, and I have written down 5 sales for them. Now, when I left the market, I only had 2 left. So I think that one of them may have been stolen. It's definitely one that's not accounted for. So I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it was an innocent mistake. Maybe I forgot to write it down, although I was writing them down pretty regularly. I'll talk about this more later, but most of our sales, like the vast majority of our sales, were cash. And since we were also using cash to buy coffee and food while we were there, I don't have an exact amount of cash that we started with, like the change that we brought. So I don't know, maybe a kid grabbed one and walked off with it without their parents seeing. I'm not sure, but I only have 5 sales written down. However, I posted all of this, like my setup and inventory, on my Instagram and Facebook account, and immediately got some more orders for the Patchicks. So my neighbor actually came by and picked up my last 2 Patchicks that I brought home. He bought those and picked them up yesterday. So I'll just have to suffice with putting a picture up here of what they look like. The next thing on my shelf were my Willie the Wildcat. So I do have one of these left, although he is already spoken for. Willie, I brought 4 of these, and then I had one like little loaf cat that had like a purple sweater on it. It was gray with a purple sweater. These I had for 20 a piece. Again, they're larger items with lots of color changes. And I only sold 2 of these at the show, and I sold my little loaf cat for 15. He was smaller, so I had him for a cheaper price. And then I already have orders for the 2 that I had left and a 3rd order for these, so they will also be gone here in a couple days when I get them shipped out. My next one down, again, I don't have a picture for you because I totally sold out of my Gen 2 KU Jayhawks. I do have this original one that I made when I was designing the pattern, so this one looks different than the ones that all sold at the show. I had this one, and then I had the 5 that had the big blue glitter eyes, the brighter red and the brighter blue colors, and they were a little bit taller. I sold all 5 of them. They were selling at 15 a piece. They were the cheapest of my team things because they're just don't take me as long to make. My mascot that did the worst, which don't tell my husband, but that's not surprising, were my Missouri Tigers. I just brought 3 of them, and I only sold 1 of the 3, and I believe the little girl that bought this was not a Missouri fan. She just wanted a striped tigery kitty, so I only sold 1 of these. I would love in the future to make this pattern, but with orange yarn. I made this pattern myself, modeled off of a loaf cat pattern on YouTube. But I would love to make some of these in orange and get fluffy yarn to add to the sides of the face and create my own like just basic tiger pattern. I think it would do pretty well. Okay, my other part of the market that did really well was my baby safe basket. I had a big white basket, I'll put a picture here, that was filled with embroidered eye items. So I had my flamingo that sold, and then I had 5 jellyfish, which I've never sold before at a market, and then I had a couple of these embroidered eye axolotls, and I sold all 5 jellyfish. They were really popular, especially for moms with babies with them. I had it marked on the basket that they were baby safe, and I would talk to people, tell them that babies can grasp the tentacles because they're thin and soft and squishy. And so I sold them early, so they are definitely a new item that I will be continuing to make and sell at future markets. One of the embroidered eye axolotls sold, but axolotls altogether, let's see. Where's my other axolotl? Where is he? Okay, here he is. So my axolotls with eyes, I sold 3 out of 4 of them. It's not surprising that I have the orange one left over. But I had a pink, purple, blue, like teal, this color, axolotl with the sparkle plastic eyes that sold, and I had one of these in I believe it had purple gills and like one of these. This is the, what are they called? Not speckle yarn from Bernat. I forget what they're called, but they're like this multicolored. I had like a pink and purple multicolored one with purple fins that also sold. I had these for 20 a piece, and I sold 4 out of 6 of them. Oh, and I'll continue with my sold out items while I'm talking here. So, and my second item that sold out was my possums. Okay, so possums I've had at every market, and max I've sold were 2. Usually I bring 6 to the market, and I've only ever sold 2 at markets. So I only brought 4 to this one, and they sold out very quickly. So, you just never know. But I was selling those for 18 a piece and sold all 4 of them. And my last item that sold out completely were my booty frogs. So I had 6 of them. They were going for 15 a piece, and people thought those were hilarious. And all 6 of them went. I had them in mostly shades of green. I had one purple one and one like teal one, but all of them sold. Then let's talk about some other, just kind of wrapping up other sales, other top sellers. My Mushy Pops, even though the popping Christmas themed Mushy Pops did not sell well, my regular Mushy Pops did. I sold 4 of them, I believe. 5 of them. I sold 5 Mushy Pops. I had, of course, my orange and yellow are the ones that are left over. So I sold like a sage green, a blue, a navy, a purple. And then I sold my death cap one that had the skull on it. I sold that one too. And then of course, what would one of my markets be without a top selling chicken? So I brought, I think 17 or 18 of these guys this time, and I sold 6 of them. They did well, although they didn't do as well as I thought they would. Like I wasn't selling many of them at the beginning, and then I sold more of them as the market went on. Same with Mushy Pops. I didn't sell hardly any at the beginning and then sold them later on. Last few things, and then we're gonna get to totals. Okay. Pigs. I had 4 of these pigs and I sold 2 of them. This is my own pattern and they do fairly well. A new item to my shop was this penguin. I had 2 black and white penguins, and then I had a teal, a pink, and a purple penguin, and both my teal, my other colored penguins sold. So the pink one and the teal one sold, and then my same neighbor who bought the Patchicks also sold or bought a black and white chicken from me. So I only have this one and one black and white one left after his order and the market. And I was selling these for, what were the penguins? I believe 13 a piece. And what else do I have left? I think just maybe some fruits. So I had my blueberries and strawberries. And again, I might have one unaccounted for strawberry because I only have 2 written down as sales, but I only have 1 left in my bin. So I'm not sure. Maybe I forgot to write it down. I'm not sure, but I have written down 2 strawberries sold and 1 blueberry sold. These go for $8 a piece. They're the least expensive thing in my stand. And guys, I think that is it. Oh, one more thing that didn't sell, my Yip Yips. Poor Yip Yips. I've had them since market 1. These I sell for 20 a piece and they have not sold yet. Somebody somewhere is going to buy a Yip Yip sometime. Maybe. Okay, so let's run through my totals here. Okay, so this event, again, had 156 vendors. We were in a high school and middle school. So there were 250 booth spaces rented, but again, only 156 vendors. So I know that 150 of the booth spaces were in the high school and 100 of the booth spaces were in the middle school. And I was in the middle school. I got very lucky, and I think it's because I signed up for the middle school early. Again, the biggest portion is in the high school, and so when I initially messaged the lady, I asked her about other crochet vendors that would be there, or if they limited the amount of crochet vendors there, or same type of vendors there. And they said no, they accepted everyone until they filled their space. She said, but if you go into the middle school, you might have less competition because there were less booths there. And so I went ahead and signed up for the middle school before they had filled all their slots in the high school, which ended up meaning that I was in the foyer. So you would kind of come through the high school and go through this hallway, and you'd enter the foyer of the middle school and then walk into the main commons area where most of the booths were set up. So when people came in, whether they came in from the high school side or walked directly and started from the front doors of the middle school, they would either have to pass my booth going into the main commons, or they would pass my booth coming out. And that was awesome. I didn't have anyone in front of me or behind me.
And also most of the booth spaces were 8 by 10, but mine was a long, narrow space. So I'm glad I didn't bring my tent, but I definitely had to reset up how I was going to organize everything on the spot. So mine ended up being probably, I don't know, 15 to 20 feet across and then not as deep. But again, that really didn't bother me, just because it was really nice not to have anyone across from me or behind me. And kind of we were in this hallway area. We had a place to plug in like my phone right next to us. Anyway, the lady said that if we sign up early, we can also request to have our same spots back. And I am definitely going to be requesting, please put me in the same spot, because I really think that helped with my sales. Another thing that I thought helped was in the main area, at least in the middle school. I did not make it into the high school. There was only one other stand that was an all origami. Gosh. That was an all amigurumi plushie booth. So there were, I think, 3 other stands in the middle school commons that had some crochet items in their booth, but they were not solely crochet booths. And most of them were with the worsted weight yarn. So even those were different for me. They were like mainly decor or like small, like keychain type things. So really the only competition, I only had one other competition booth in the middle school. Now I did not make it over to the high school, but I believe, because a couple people that came by the booth did say, or they're like, oh, these crochet art is really popular this year. So there must have been some crochet booths over in the high school as well. But again, I didn't see, I just know that in the building I was in, there was only one other one. Okay, so let's get to numbers. I brought over $2,000 worth of inventory, which for me is a lot. I think my other markets probably, I haven't ever counted. I know that's bad, but I think I probably brought around $1,800 worth of inventory. I had 124 total plushies for sale. So out of the 124 plushies, I sold 65 of them, which was wonderful. Again, my most successful market before this one was my very first market, and I believe I sold 42 things. So I bumped that up by 20 plushies. And my total amount that I made in sales was $1,148, which far exceeds my best market before this one. I believe my first market was 670 something in there. So it was close to doubling that 600 mark. Which I was so thrilled about. My goal for this one was to make more than my first market. So that's kind of what I was aiming for, and I far surpassed that. So that was super exciting for me. My booth, as far as like money spent, my booth fee was $45, which I cannot believe that. They've been doing this event for 45 years. This was their 45th annual. So it was a well-established event, and I can't believe my booth fee was as cheap as it was. So, and then while we were there, I'm guessing I probably spent like $50 while we were there in, food. We bought our breakfast, both my husband and I. We bought coffees and we bought our lunches. So between that, and then I also bought this really cool cross. Let me go get it for you. Hold on. I bought this super cool cross. This is heavy. It's wood on the outside and then this corrugated tin on the inside, and it's pretty big. Pretty big. I got this for $25. This was, I bought from a booth that was 2 down from us. By the way, we had such fun booth neighbors. Like the neighbors right next to us in the foyer were an older Amish couple, and they own an elk farm, and they were selling like elk jerky, elk meat, and elk antlers as dog chews, which apparently are dogs love them. Who knew? I didn't know, but they were super sweet. But right next to them was this lady selling these wooden crosses. And so I'm going to say that, I don't know, maybe we spent more like $60 in cash at this event. Okay, what else was I going to say? Oh, so this is something else I thought was interesting. I sold 65 items, but I only had 50 individual sales. And of those 50, 28 of them were with cash. 12 of them were with Venmo, and only 10 were with a card, which I thought that was really interesting because when I was doing my markets up in the city or suburbs, almost everyone paid with card. And when we're in a more rural area, the two markets that I've had in more rural areas have been very majority cash or Venmo. So I thought that was really interesting as well. But again, total, I made $1,148. And then once I subtract my $45 booth fee, and I'm going to say $60 for the cross I bought and the food and coffee that we bought while we were there, my profit would come down to $1,043. So I am so pumped. I could not be more pleased about how this market went. I'm definitely signing up again next year, but from now to the end of the year, I am not signed up for any more markets. I'm going to focus on making orders for people because I wasn't really taking orders while I was market prepping. So I'll be filling some like Christmas orders, and making some Christmas presents, and then probably looking to do my next market in early spring or late winter. Whatever one I can find kind of next. But yeah, this will probably be my last big market vlog for the year, and then we'll be kind of rebuilding for the springtime. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful Christmas, and if there's a lot going on between now and then, I will post another video, but we'll see. So hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and thanks for stopping by. Bye.